good heart or good looks? What's better? Is it better to be attractive or to have a good heart? You know, women, they're in their prime, in their late teens and into their 20s. The women at that age, they're in their golden years. They hold all the cards, and women just think that those years will never end. Why? Because it's the glory years, the glamour years of a woman. If a woman is beautiful or attractive, she holds all the cards. She has their pick of the guys. The woman at those ages, they just pretty much have the world eating out of their hands. Oftentimes, beautiful women in their prime, they rely on their looks. They have good looks too. And they don't really develop much inside, let's say their heart. Their looks is what everyone sees. We talk about it on our show. That's why I mentioned to the guys, it's important to keep your face looking good, your teeth, everything. And the same's true with a woman. You know, a woman in her prime is beautiful. And she doesn't have to worry so much about what's on the inside because she has very beautiful outside. Men, on the other hand, they age slowly. Men are slower than women in all categories. And men, they just continue to develop, they continue to blossom as they get older. And when a man is, let's say, in his 20s or teens, a man just simply is not in his prime. It's really unfair for, let's say, a young man in his 20s, and then he's got this woman, she's in her prime, and this guy hasn't yet reaching his prime. The guy is way less advanced, and the woman is far more advanced as she's in her prime. Let's say you have an 18-year-old boy and you have an 18-year-old girl. That 18-year-old girl's mentally going to be far advanced than the boy. And you'll see that the women, and let's say 18 years old, teenage women, they're far more thinking level than an 18-year-old boy. Why? Because the girls, they mentally advance faster than a boy. I know that because I'm a boy. And I had a girlfriend at 18. And I was mentally at age like 11. Although I had a man's body at 18, an 18-year-old boy, he looks like a man. He looks like a man. But inside, he's like a 11-year-old. He's lost like 7 years mentally. So that's why women, let's say 18-year-old women, they like guys a little older. They don't like guys their own age or younger because the guys just mentally are far, far behind than a woman. When I was 18, like I mentioned, I had this 18-year-old girlfriend, and she wanted to get married to me. She wanted to start a family. She wanted me to be the papa. And I was like, I'm 18, and mentally, I'm like 11. And I don't have the capability to go to work, to support a family, to buy diapers, and to pay rent for the house. Mentally, I was not there. Going back to the young women in their prime, they have the world. They have the world in their hands. These women, you know, they pretty much have everything. They have guys lining up. They have free dinners. They have lots of messages. Guys everywhere. They want to date this woman. She lives in like a celebrity. What happens when that woman, she turns 30, 40, or 50 years old?
Don't have no escape?
A woman in her prime is just simply amazing. She's gorgeous. And like we mentioned, she can just do just about anything. A woman truly believes that things will never change and that her beauty, her looks will stick around forever. She's showered with beautiful dinners, nice gifts. She has lots of things that she wants, and a woman is just eating it up. There's lots of guys lining up to date her also.
I need a new guy.
She has all kinds of male attention. A woman in her late teens or into her 20s is in the prime of her life.
You're not my matchmaker, you're my mom.
Women, when they have this prime and they're going, they change men a lot. They leapfrog to man to man. They know that there's another man that may be better than the man that they have now. So they can bounce from man to man till she finds that man that suits her. But these women, they get in this habit thinking, like, if there's one thing about you that I don't like, I'll just go to the next guy. Because these women, they have suitors lining up to date these girls. So they never really, a lot of these women never establish a serious relationship for a long time because they're so busy moving on to the next guy.
Let's move on.
These are truly the years that the women date up. They date up for that better guy, that more handsome guy, the guy that has more money, the guy that can take care of her better. They just keep moving up the ladder, moving around, till they find that right guy.
Yes!
Oftentimes, women at this age, they don't develop their inside. They rely solely on their looks. And their looks are nice. It's nice. However, the women, if they don't develop the inside, it may cause a problem later on. Men often reach their prime in their 30s, 40s, 50s. Even some men may reach their prime in their 60s. So men develop slower than women, and that's another reason why women date men that are older. Men tend to be more mature as they're older. Some men become better looking, and some men have more success in their business. So men become more of a golden ticket as they reach their prime, as they get older. What happens when a woman turns 30, 40, 50? She reaches past her prime. All of a sudden, no longer that the suitors are around. Her looks begin to change. She looks older. Some of these women gain weight and they become more fat. And the guys look at these women and they're just simply past their prime. And then there's a new crop of women in their 20s. And they're beautiful. So if this woman hasn't found a man by her 30s, let's say, and she keeps thinking like, oh, I'm going to be very beautiful for the rest of my life, it doesn't work that way, ladies. And what happens is that the women start getting frazzled. They start, because the guys aren't around. There's no more free dinners. There's no more guys chasing her. And things begin to change quite drastically as a woman leaves her prime. Oftentimes, a woman will be disillusioned when she has all this attention in her prime, and all of a sudden, there's nobody knocking at her door. She may say like, well, I'm not really into guys anymore, you know, I'm happy to be alone or be with my baby with no father. We live a simple life, and we simply do not need a man.
I'm not dependent on a man.
The truth is, every woman needs a man. Every man needs a woman. And a woman needs that action, right? She needs to be like, she needs that action from a man. She needs to be in bed and having a good time with a man. So anytime a woman says like, I don't need a man and I'm happy, that's a lie. All women, they need that action. They need that love. They need good sex in bed. No women just want to be alone. All women, they really need a guy. This is where the problem, if a woman doesn't find a guy before she begins to go down, is that her looks fade and then the guys aren't dating her. And then she begins to leapfrog from guy to guy. This time, instead of leapfrogging for a better guy in her prime, she's leapfrogging down to find a guy who will take her who will tolerate her, and she becomes a little bitter because things have changed. And oftentimes that woman, she will settle for a guy that may not be of her interest, and her attitude will change. She may be a little cynical. She may not be so happy when she finds that new guy as she's dating down. The woman in a situation like that is more desperate, and she will settle down for a man that may not be the person she really likes. Before, she was picking and choosing and getting rid of good guys and looking for new guys that are better. But her vibes may go down, and she may be changing in her attitude. And the new guy that she finally ends up with may suffer a lot of repercussion from that lady's emotional distress. That's why it's good for a woman to develop her heart at a young age, develop a good character, be a good person. Because what happens as a woman ages and becomes old and past her prime, she's no longer beautiful. Guys aren't attracted to her. And also her inside hasn't changed. And her inside is not beautiful also because she didn't have to rely on it. She relied on her beauty and her looks. So now a woman has nothing. She has not good looks, and she has no good heart and no good beauty inside. So the new guy that has this woman may leave. He may get sick of this girl. Why? Because the woman doesn't have a lot to offer. And if that woman developed her inside, even if her looks faded, that man may have a golden woman. If a woman has a good heart and good looks in her prime, then she gets older. Let's say she gets married and her looks start to fade. She has a couple kids. She doesn't look the same. Her body changes. But if she's a good woman and has a good heart, that's very important. Why? Because as that woman ages, getting old, and her heart is good, she becomes a more beautiful woman. I guess the moral of this story is that it's important to develop the inside. That's more important than beauty and looks because they fade and go away and we become past our prime. But the heart stays the same forever. So if you want to go ahead and have a lasting relationship, it's important to develop the inside first. And the looks are important, but the inside is even more important. Thanks so much. Please like, share, subscribe, and we're going to see you next show!